Good morning everyone. This is Kailin Kamikawa. From June 11, 2021, the G7 summit has finally begun in the United Kingdom. Japanese Prime Minister Suga said at around 8 a.m. on the 11th of Japan time. He arrived at the airport in Cornwall on a government plane. Prime Minister Suga coming down from the ramp seems to have his right hand and right foot moving together. I can see that he is nervous. WWW, you will laugh from the first shot. Ha 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 ha. At the G7 summit, which was his first participation, Prime Minister Suga, in addition to explaining Japan's total of $1 billion in assistance to developing countries at the vaccine summit, towards the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, he wants to regain the support of each country. Under these circumstances, the British government announced on the 10th, leaders of 7 countries to converge the pandemic of the new coronavirus by the end of next year. The company announced that it will agree to provide 1 billion vaccines worldwide. G7 countries will be provided with in-kind supply and financial support. They said they would promise to provide at least 100 million times each. The British government also says that it will pay 100 million doses from the surplus. In addition, Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga announced on the morning of the 11th, the same night of Japan time. Prior to the opening of the Group of 7 Summit, G7 Summit, in Cornwall, southwestern England, he met with British Prime Minister Johnson, who chairs it. According to the British government, Mr. Johnson expressed his support for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics. We welcome Japan's efforts to make the tournament safe. This is the first face-to-face meeting between the two prime ministers. Mr. Johnson also expressed his support for the event to Prime Minister Suga at the telephone meeting in May. Furthermore, at the G7, 7 major countries, summit meeting that started on the night of the 11th of Japan time, Prime Minister Suga expressed his determination to host the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics. He has gained national support. This is a report by Junichi Chida, a reporter who accompanies me.
菅総理は各国の首脳に対し、世界が新型コロナという大きな困難に直面する今だからこそ世界が団結するべきだと訴え、東京大会開催への支持を呼びかけました。会合で菅総理は安全安心の東京大会の開催に向け万全な感染対策を講じ、世界のトップ選手が最高の競技を繰り広げることを期待している。強力な選手団を派遣してほしいと呼びかけました。首脳たちは温かい笑みで耳を傾け、ある首脳は全員の賛意を代表して東京大会の成功を確信していると表明しました。コロナ禍からの経済の回復をテーマにした議論で菅総理は、グリーンとデジタルがより良い回復を実現する上での鍵だと説明し、半導体などを念頭としたサプライチェーンの脆弱性の問題は、G7 が強調する形で戦略的に取り組む必要があると訴えました。
About it. With this, Japan will be able to join the G7 summit. It's like having officially received support for hosting the Olympics. This is exactly synonymous with the Nishiki no Mahata as in Japan. In Japan, Maskomi will be holding the Olympic Games in Japan. It's wrongly reported as if the world is against it. It's not an objective opinion. It's created by Maskomi. This proved to be propaganda that emphasized some biased opinions. Japan wants the Olympics to be successful from the G7 because I received a strong manifestation of intention. Japan held the Olympic Games openly as a safety and security Tokyo tournament. And I think that a strong determination to make sure to succeed is what Japan needs today. At the same time, it will restore the world economy in the corona disaster. Japan will take the lead. I would like to ask for your cooperation from all over the world. By the way, there is a country that attaches the only ikemen to the Tokyo Olympics. A spokesman for the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs posted a map showing the route of the torch relay on the Tokyo Olympics website. https://olympics.com/tokyo-2020/ja/torch/route/Shimane Prefecture Takeshima, Korean name. Dokdo, is listed in a very small size. He emphasizes that Takeshima's description is never acceptable. The description of Takeshima on the map is pointed out by a Korean university professor and former Prime Minister Chung Si-kyu, one of the presidential candidates of the Democratic Party of Korea. Former Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon, a candidate for the ruling party president, also mentioned after requesting deletion on Facebook, "If Japan refuses to the end, we should mobilize all the means that the government can take, such as not participating in the Olympics." The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has decided on this matter. "We are responding to the Korean side that it is not a political promotion and that there is no problem," according to Korean TV station, SBS, etc. The South Korean government has asked the IOC to arbitrate this issue, in the name of IOC Director James McLeod. Olympics first discussed this issue with the Tokyo Organizing Committee of the Olympics. Dokdo's notation is merely a geopolitical indication, not a political promotion. It is said that a reply was sent with the content. The IOC officially stated that there was no problem with this case and that it would not intervene at all. However, the Korean side was furious at the IOC's response. The Korean newspaper, Jungang Ilbo, reported the opposition from the Korean side, saying that the Korean government is in a position of being unacceptable. On the 11th, the Korean government announced that in the name of Wang Wei, Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, urgent delivery of a letter urging IOC President Thomas Bach to arbitrate again, apparently. "Oh my God, the thief is fierce," is exactly this. These days, it's a little easier to call it na-aeronambule, just thinking and acting like romance if I do it, affair if others do it, nothing is different from the thief is fierce. Assuming that Takeshima, Oki Island town, Shimane Prefecture, is drawn on the route map of the Torch Relay South Korea, which claims the island as its own territory, has criticized it as political use of the Olympics. I actually looked at the homepage. The map of this HP is originally a map of Japan that is distributed in Japan. The Northern Territories are also listed, and the Senkaku Islands are also listed. Because each country has different territorial claims, it is natural for Japan to describe the territory it claims to be its own country on a map of Japan. It is not something that is criticized by South Korea. The Northern Territories are also well documented, but is Russia criticizing it? The Senkaku is also well documented, but is China criticizing it? Only South Korea criticizes Japan for this reason. What Korea is doing can only be said to be the bone of foolishness. When I actually saw it, the map was on scale and there was no exaggeration, and I couldn't see the small Takeshima at all. If you magnify the screenshot 5 times in the browser and 4 times more, somehow the shadow looks vague. However, the allegations are terrible. Secretary General Muto Toshiro of the Organization Committee also said, "Maps cannot be changed as maps." At least the Organizing Committee doesn't think about territorial issues at all. Quote. According to a Korean university professor who said this, Japan's wrong act of trying to publicize Dokdo, Takeshima, as its territory through the Tokyo Olympics, it seems. I can't see it at all, and I haven't made any particular appeal. Why does this mean, let's publicize your territory? No one knows that Takeshima is mentioned unless South Korea makes a point. What South Korea is saying can only be seen as self-contradictory and crazy words and deeds. And before complaining to Japan, first of all, South Korea should remember what they said and did. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has banned political claims at Olympic venues and elsewhere. However, immediately after defeating Japan in the 2012 London Olympics men's third-place playoff, South Korea's Park Jong-woo ran with a placard stating, "Dokdo is my territory." He was punished, including suspension of 2 games. Of course, the unification flag, used by the unification team of South Korea and North Korea at the Pyeongchang Olympics in 2018 initially, Takeshima was emphasized and deleted at the IOC's recommendation. Of course, if you dare to put a small Takeshima in the flag of the simplified map of the Korean peninsula, it is nothing more than a political intention in itself, and it is a natural response for the IOC. Furthermore, the official website of the Pyeongchang Olympics Organizing Committee was on a relatively accurate map that introduced the venue area at that time. I ignored the scale altogether and emphasized Takeshima, which is far away. This is the political claim that South Korea claims, in response to a request for deletion from the government of Japan or the Japanese Olympic Committee, JOC. It's not worth considering, and I have no intention of responding, he said. In other words, they make an outright political claim, and ignore the request for deletion. The exact map of Japan is arguing and urging. It would be correct to say, na-aeronambule, or, thief ferocious. Because the IOC did not work in this case, Korean newspapers seem to be full of dissatisfaction, such as Japan is given preferential treatment. Several former prime ministers who are expected to be candidates for the presidential election next year. There was also a political use for popularity, claiming the boycott of the Tokyo Olympics. However, there are few opinions that criticize it. According to one poll, more than 70% are in favor of boycotts. I would like you to boycott it. I forgot to mention that on the official website of the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics, did you post a map with Japan and Sakhalin completely deleted? There was also a case where the Korean K-pop idol, ENHYPEN, deleted Japan from the world map. In 2018, TVXQMV sometimes said that Japan was removed from the world map. Harassment like this is innumerable in South Korea. As long as you continue to say and act extremely rudely, it should be recognized that it is South Korea that is criticized by the world. It's sloppy, like a child just kneading and screaming. I would like you to stop the lowly words and deeds. That's all.